This is part 2 of the lesson 4 guided notes. This is just the second or the lower half of that note paper. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the 4 words to fill in the circles. We have compound molecules, elements, molecules, and atoms. And we're going to label them in each of these circles depending on where they go. So let's look at this one first, a group of pure atoms. A group of pure atoms. So all the atoms are the same type. And what we call that, we call a substance that has all atoms the same type of atom, we call that an element. So this is where an element goes. Now sometimes we have, well, let's do this one. This one right here, this circle, says basic building block of all matter. Well, we should know this by now. This would be an atom or atoms. I'm going to cross these out as we do them. Okay, so we have elements here, a group of pure atoms, and then basic building block of all matter is atoms. So do you see how atoms is inside of elements? So that means that all atoms are considered elements. Okay. Now sometimes the reason why elements is a bigger circle is because some elements are not single atoms. Sometimes we can have an element of 2 or more atoms bonded together that are the same type. So an example would be if we have 2 hydrogens. Do you see how those 2 are bonded together? It's still an element because they're the same kind, but because they're bonded together, we're not going to call them single atoms because they're not single. They're bonded together. So this would be considered a molecule. So that's why this circle right here, that's called chemically bonded atoms, kind of overlaps the elements because some elements are molecules and some molecules are elements. So we're going to put molecules in this circle. Now, not all molecules are elements because sometimes we can have a molecule that looks like this. Right? I just had you draw it above. Sometimes we have molecules that look like this that are not made of the same element. So there's hydrogen and oxygen, and there's 2 different ones. So we call that a compound molecule. Call that a compound molecule. Where we have combined molecules, but it's also just stuff that is made up of different types of elements. So that is why molecules encompasses these 2 circles right here. Okay, now that you're done with these papers, or these videos, you're going to flip your paper over. And I'm not going to help you with this part. You are going to, when this video is over, you're going to answer these questions. This one, the most basic unit of matter is an atom, an element, or a molecule. When different atoms are bonded together, they create an element or a compound molecule. Over here, I'm going to have you draw an oxygen atom, draw the element oxygen, and then draw the molecule made from 1 carbon and 2 oxygen atoms. So go ahead and use your notes from the first side of this to answer these questions. When you're done, go ahead and turn them in.